Thank you very much, everyone, for being here. Really happy to be hosting this new agency stories organized with Channable, but mainly with ASight, our partner. And it will be all about a case that we had together, Soi Paris, fashion brand that we'll be introducing to you a little bit later, and mainly about how we work together in optimizing Google Ads campaigns for higher revenue. On Google Shopping, you'll see that we started from something really hectic, let's say it like this, to arrive to something really satisfying and really good in terms of results, with also a plan for the future to be sure that we'll be able to continue to grow together. And I hope it will be inspiring the most of you for doing the same with your clients, or to be helped to do so.
Yeah, and we will try to be the most...
Yeah.
No, just say we're trying to be the most to give you stuff that you can actually do right away. We will be the more practical as possible. So, but still, if you have any questions about what we're going to say, just ask in the chat. Thank you.
And we already have a first question for you, because we also have questions for you. We want to know with who we are talking right now. You have now a question which just popped in front of you to know if you are more on the agency side or if you're not yourself a retailer or client, a direct advertiser. So we would like to know which people are here today.
There is a majority of agency right now. Very interesting. I'm very eager to also compare our strategies to what other people do. So if you want to share stuff that you are doing differently or anything, we can also discuss about that.
Right, so we have indeed, I would say, it's a 33-66 situation, basically, mainly on agency side, but we're all happy to get you on this presentation. Great. To go to the presentations of us, firstly, I'm really happy to invite Alexandre from ASight, and firstly about me before he talks about himself and the agency he's working for. I'm Benoit Murer, Senior Customer Success Manager at Channable for 3.5 years now, nearly 4, going slowly, mainly for the French-speaking countries. It means that I'm basically working with the biggest French-talking accounts and the agencies who give us their expertise to help us develop the clients over different kind of channels and strategies. And we then had the possibility of working on Soi Paris together. And I'm really happy to let Alexandre introduce himself and what he had to do with them also.
Yes, so hello again, everyone. I'm Alexandre. I'm associate and head of performance at ASight. I've been there for 2 years now. The agency, we'll talk a bit more about the agency later, but it's quite a new, it's been 2 years we are on the market. And before that, I have track records in digital marketing from inbound to outbound. I started with inbound with SEO, content, social media. I did some influencer marketing, and then I went more to outbound through paid ads. I went through little agencies, big agencies. I went client side, agency side. I lived also 4 years in London, 2 years in Paris, and right now I'm back in Bordeaux, in the southwest of France, where our agency is located. To talk a little bit about ASight, so as I was saying, it's been 2 years we launched, and our goal is really to help businesses grow. It's the main thing. It's just that we do it with search ads and social ads, creatives and tracking, but we just don't do digital marketing. Our goal is really to help business grow. That's our main KPI, and that's what we do. That's what we have been doing over the past 2 years, and it works pretty well. Today we have over 30 recurring clients in 3 countries, in the UK, in Switzerland, and in France, and we manage around 10 million in ad spend yearly. And to talk about Soi Paris, I don't know if you know the brand, guys. Let us know in the chat if you actually know the brand. It's actually a well-renowned fashion brand founded by two sisters, Aurélie and Julia, in 2016. And it's really a brand about creativity and consciousness. Everything they do is super original, super colorful, and they have been known for their wonderful prints and super high quality natural fabrics. Between the two sisters, their role are very well attributed. Julia is more the artistic mind. She designs all the clothes, all the prints, and Aurélie is more on the business strategy. So it works very well, and the brand has been growing ever since, and it's a quite renowned brand today. I don't know if you know that, but Soi in French, it means both myself and or itself. And if you add an E at the end, it also means silk. And it's a bit the mark of the brand is they use beautiful silk also for their dresses. And it's all around sustainability and ethical production. It's a very interesting brand to work with. Added to that, they're very nice people. So it's always a pleasure to work with this brand, and we hope to continue to help them grow.
Exactly. It was a nice play on the word, actually, even on the photo here. I just discovered it. Like,
yes.
Free like yourself.
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. And then let's go dive directly into this topic.
Yeah, so basically, we're working with the brand. It's been more than 1 year now, I think. And the problem was quite simple. Is that they had underperforming PMAX and shopping campaigns. So basically, they just didn't push them. They had, resellers. They had their business was growing, but on Google Shopping, they just didn't see it working. And basically, they just stopped spending on it, not optimizing the campaigns, not optimizing the product feed, and so the previous agency couldn't prove the campaigns to be working. So they just didn't do anything, and it was kind of a vicious circle.
Yeah,
right.
This is literally the dynasty that we made together when we were trying to understand how we can help them. It was really to see that with all these experiences of campaigns which are not making any kind of results, the client was less interested in putting budgets, but then the campaigns were even less performant. So there was even less budget. So it was really the vicious circle that we tried to break together and with some really clear objectives and after strategies to be able to go through. And I would like to ask you then today, perhaps is the reason why you are here, or perhaps you're thinking about going to Google Shopping, and as a poll, to know what is actually your activity today. Are you using it? Would you like to use it? Are you just looking for optimizations? That's what we're interested to understand.
You can choose several things.
Actually,
you don't have to choose only one.
Multiple choice one, indeed. Okay, so the tendency is PMAX, okay, which is winning. Still some people, 10%, who would like to see what they can do. So
you're actually at the right place, because as we had to redo everything from the start, you will see now from the basics to the most advanced things, what you can do, and it will help you launch your PMAX. And obviously, if you don't have an agency yet, we're here. That's the commercial moment. We're here. We can help you. All right, I won't talk about that anymore. But yes, if you want to know more, if you want to see how we can help you, do not hesitate to contact us, and we have our contact at the end.
Exactly. Okay, so I see still some Pemax. Like I'm pretty happy to see that, because I remember even like what, a year and a half ago, 2 years for us, it was still like the big
Even
fear.
more than 2 years,
A
I
bit
think.
more now even, yeah. It was a big fear about losing control, but I see that now at least 60% are not so afraid anymore, or at least decided to try and to go over the fear. So it's good to see it coming. But you'll see that there are a lot of things that you can do to be sure to get some control, and also to have the results that you're looking for, basically. Let's continue on the objectives then.
Yes.
So yeah, we wanted to show you before what are the objectives that we had to work on, and mainly for sure a site with Soi. So I'll let you, Alexandre, explain.
Yeah, these are objectives that if you are a retail brand with a lot of resellers, you will ask yourself these questions at one point or another. Basically, the first one is to retake control over resellers. Soi is a brand that has very powerful and big resellers. And the main problem they had was that they didn't have impressions on their name. When people were typing Soi Paris in the search, nothing came out. It was only the resellers. So it's really a problem, because as you know, when you have resellers, your margins are lower on them, and your goal is to actually drive traffic to your website to get better margins. So it's very important to retake control over resellers and to be visible in the search results.
Pretty classic topic, I know, for a lot of fashion brands, not only fashion, but I have it often with fashion, to try to explain when we haven't been the first one on the market, how we can reclaim our legitimacy. Definitely.
Yes. And the next one is pretty simple, but we knew that Google Shopping, over our experience, we knew that it's a great tool to actually drive new client revenue and to expand the client base. And right now, Google was not really doing that. It was more about brand terms, and so it was our goal. Our objective was to use Google Ads, and particularly Google Shopping, to drive new client revenue. Pretty simple. But it's also a problem you will have on your site if you're a retailer, is that sometimes it can be actually quite hard to drive incremental revenue. Your brand terms are working pretty well, but as you go to generic keywords, and by generic I mean keywords that don't include your brand, if you go to generic keywords to people who don't know you, it can get a bit harder, right? And sometimes, as Soi Paris did in the past, they just stop investing. But it's just that it's not the right strategy, and we had to find the right one.
Yeah. So all of this said, some challenges went out.
Yes. We had challenges to go over. So let's go to the first one. The first one was that Soi Paris had a direct Shopify to Merchant Center connection. It's the case of most brands that start on Google Ads and on PMax. But it's a problem in itself, because a lot of important attributes are missing when you do the direct connection from any CMS, from Shopify to Merchant Center, but from any CMS. And that's really a challenge, because you need to provide Google with the right attributes, the right information for Google to be able to know when to push a product against who, and it's really important to provide the maximum information, as we will see more in detail later.
First question also for her, third then already, but we would like to know, because every CMS is really different on many things, and we'd like to know what is the situation today of people attending on the tools they are using.
Yeah, we know that Shopify represents maybe 80% of our clients, and Shopify has specificities to tackle and challenges. And yeah, actually, we have a majority of Shopify owners there. It's good. It's actually good, because we will provide some tips to optimize your campaigns when you are a Shopify user. It will be interesting for everyone, and you can adapt it to your CMS. But Shopify has some specificities that we will tackle today.
Yeah, indeed. I still see like quite awesome others. Like 25% of people will get other or custom, and we make it as one. Okay, interesting. So don't worry. Yeah, everything is okay for everyone. It's just like according to the CMS, you have to make some little tricks.
Okay. Yes. Okay. So let's go. Another challenge we had was that the brand didn't have in its setup, in its Shopify setup, nice categorizations of products. Products were categorized with tags in collections, but there was no information on the product on the product to actually segment the product. As you can see here, every product type was different for specific reasons, but every product type was different, and that's usually the product type that that is mapped in Merchant Center to the category of the product, and that's how you can segment your campaigns or your ad groups or your element groups, and that was really a problem because if you want to segment where your campaigns, you need to have very clean categorization of products, and it was not the case when we began.
So you have to make a global strategy also on which information will go where, and also after to adapt this strategy every time. A really very big change we had here indeed, and after some twists, we arrived at something pretty nice, definitely. Another challenge then.
Yeah, the third challenge, it's actually a big one. It's that the brand was using direct Shopify tracking. When you actually just plug the Google and YouTube app on Shopify, you are able to have the tracking that is actually good. For people who don't have the budget to invest in server-side tracking, very advanced tracking, the native Shopify to Google Ads tracking is very good. It allows you to have purchase, add to cart, begin checkout, initiate checkout, page views. You have a lot of the main conversions and micro conversions. So it was very good. And when we started, it was not planned to change that. So we had to keep the Shopify tracking. And the thing is, when you keep to have the Shopify tracking, you have to connect your Merchant Center through API. It means that you have to have a Merchant Center that is directly linked to your Shopify. So the products go directly from Shopify to Merchant Center in order to keep this tracking. I don't know why they do that, but you can't have the tracking without having the Merchant Center connection. And that's a challenge, and we will see how to tackle that. It's a challenge. Why? Because even if you optimize your feed with Channable, but then the API connection will always come, and it's impossible to delete it without deleting the tracking. So we will see how to do to keep the tracking, keep the direct Merchant Center connection while having an optimized product feed.
Indeed.
And the last challenge was to get the right campaign structure, how to organize the campaign to maximize both brand and non-brand revenue, because as we saw, the brand had a lot of trouble to actually be visible against resellers. Right now, if you go all over LinkedIn, you see a lot of strategies where it's all about non-brand strategies, non-brand focused. But for a lot of retailer, brand is still a struggle, and we need to start with the basics. It's to be visible and get the conversions when people are actually typing names. So we had to find the right structure. We tested a lot of things, and now we think we have found the right one, and we will see that together.
Great. So pretty some challenges, as you understood, that had to be tackled, and we try to think about the strategy itself, and this is where Channable also started to really be a part of the solution, at least, and I will be able to show you how it has been, and also all the other things we've put in place with Alexandre and Soi. So the first one was to perfect the basics. You see, it's many things like this was to optimize really the catalog and the product information. And the first one was basically just to be sure that we are sending the good information at the right place. You can see here on the right a screenshot about a classic Google Shopping feed that you can find in Channable, where you'll be able to do categorization, you'll be able to put attributes, and also to find what are the informations which are the most relevant for the fashion vertical and industry, because you will know it. It's not only on Google Shopping, on many places. They try to show you what is their vision and their adaptation of the products, and they try to show you that you can put your own strategy according to your position, your price range, or even the vertical you're trying to work in. And in Channable, you can try to optimize it by sending the right information at the right moment, to modify it also accordingly, with also the segmentation that you were talking, Alexandre, that we'll be able to talk a little bit more after in the custom labels. So it was really first to define what are all the information we want to see and we want to send, to be able to, after, work on a clear product information and really go next level. For this, it was basically to work on this category attribute. First of all, it was covering all those informations that we had internally, the use that was in the Shopify, which wasn't always the most optimized one. So according to what was the category, we also sent some, according to what was the title, we sent the good category. You can see here, if category good, if all, for all the products, take the category and such a values in title. It means that the title had all those nice French words that you can see, jupe, robe, pull, etc. And we send it with an optimized information, which is more relevant for researches and for being recognized in Google as a good product, well optimized and mastered. Yeah, Alexandre,
it's basically how it works. Is that, we just saw in the challenge is that when you send directly your product through an app, like from Shopify to Merchant Center, for WooCommerce to Merchant Center, anything, most of the time a lot of important attributes are missing. For example, here we're talking about the category attributes. It was not filled well, and we had to recreate it. And what is really good with Channable is that based on your feed information that is present, you can actually you can fill those attributes with rules. And here we had the problem of the missing product type, so we went to the title. Okay, if there is shirt in the title, then category is shirt. If there is dress in the title, then category is dress, etc., etc. And the goal is really to use your available information. Sometimes it's in the title, sometimes it's in the description, sometimes it's in the tags. And you use your feed information to recreate and fill all the attributes that are mandatory for a good quality score, let's say, on Google Shopping. And here, that's what we did, for example, with the category attribute.
Yeah, absolutely. To be able to find, but the right category, you said it, and to be able to start the segmentation at least. And it was a good help, I guess, because when you don't have consistency on the information, it could be harder. I remember some long mails we could have together on Kiskelent and others to find which roles we'll put to arrive to the right optimization. But also it means to be able to create some of these attributes, which I've asked and important for optimization, but that you don't have actually in your current catalog. In this case, it was the logic of color, and also the value that you had in this color, because it was really internal values that you'll be able to see in the next slide. Basically, we created those custom project fields, and fill them to be sure that we send the right information and to, again, work on the optimization of this product and this catalog. So here you see that we created this color field that we've been able to fill also with a rule according to the available information that you had in your original feed.
Yeah, here it's pretty specific. If you're a fashion brand or even other brand, it can be also house brand, stuff like that. Sometimes the color the color is not really a color. It's like a name that you name the color by something that you invent, but it's not something that is actually searched by people. And we need to provide the real color to Google for people who will actually look for a pink dress, let's say. They will not look for a Gregory dress because it exists only in the brown perspective, but it doesn't exist in the real world, right? So, and there was no mention of the real color either in the description, either in the tags or in anything. So we had this time not to use the feed information, but really to create it. So we listed all the specific brand colors, like there was gris-gris, there was trèfle, there was a long list. And then we just said, okay, if it has gris-gris in the title, it means that the color is rose, meaning pink in French. If it has trèfle in the title, then its color is blue. And we did that for basically all the colors on the website to have this color attribute that is really important, actually, because people look for product plus color. So it's very important to provide this to Google.
I was saying here also what you have to understand, it doesn't mean that gris-gris or trèfle is not an important information. It's just that according to the channel you're trying to integrate, people are not buying exactly the same way. People who already know you go on your website, perhaps they like all those colors and branding that you made by yourself, and they are important for them. But here you are integrating Google Shopping in that case, and you have to make it according to the rules of Google Shopping. And indeed, the color is a really important one for fashion, at least. Not only, but
there is a good question from Jerry. He says, did you use the categories that Google uses for their product categories here to fill your product types? Actually, to fill the to fill the Google product categories, we had as well to do some pretty much the same rules to fill them, because it was not filled naturally either. So we had to do it again for the product categories, but it was kind of the same, a bit different, because the product type, we wanted it to be sometimes a bit more aggregated than what we can see on Google categories. So it was a bit different, but we did it the same way, basically. It's if in the title there is this, then Google category is this. But Google categories and product type were a bit different because we wanted to use them differently.
Absolutely. We got the answer on this one. So let's continue on the other optimization that we made, I guess. Still the titles, and precisely you already introduced it a bit that.
Yes, it's the most important one, right? I think everybody knows it. It's the one that will tell Google on which keyword your product has to appear. Obviously, all the other attributes are important, but the title is the most important. Title descriptions are really important, and you need to have the maximum information about your product in your title. And what is really nice with Channable is that once you have created, as we saw just before, once you have created all the attributes that are very important, and once all of them are filled the right way, you can actually modify your title to put them in the title. So here, for example, what we did for Soi Paris, we knew at the beginning that we had trouble to appear against resellers, so we decided to put the brand as the first keyword in the title. If you have a long name, sometimes put it in the end, because it's important to have information about the product in the visible text on Google Shopping. But here for Soi Paris, it's quite short, and we really needed to be present on brand keywords, so we put it first. Then you put your title, which is basically blouse envoûtante en soie gris-gris, and then you can put the color attribute, and also the size. The size is important. Why? Because it makes every variant of your product unique. It's something that is important as well for Google, is to have unique titles. And if you have one product, that would be the shirt with many sizes, all the variants of the product will have the same name if you don't put the size in it. So, and also people look for the size most of the time. So it's very important to put it there. You can also add the material attribute, very important one as well. We didn't do it there because it was actually already in the title. So you see it's en soie means in silk. So it was already in the title, so we didn't have to add it in the modified title, the new title. But if it's not in your title, I would recommend to add, again, the attribute material in the new and modified title.
Yeah, I would say that it's not always a true thing to do because we can be wrong sometimes with our impressions. But in this case, I think for fashion, knowing what you would look at if you were yourself a seller is always a good thing to ask yourself to know if you know that you won't take the product if it's too small, too big, if it's a color that you don't like, and all those kind of things.
It's there is a question from Julia that is interesting. I think I just answered it, but I can answer it again because it's quite important. She says, do you recommend to always name the brand of the product first? Or if the brand is not as important, do you first use a search term? I mean, it depends. For me, other people would have other advice, but for me, if your brand name is short, there is no problem putting it at the first, especially if you have a problem appearing against reseller. If you don't have a problem appearing against reseller, and more of that, if your brand name is long, I would recommend to put it in the end and keep the title and the important keywords about your product first. But if you have a visibility problem and the short brand name, put it first.
Yeah, as you said a little bit in introduction, and we'll rediscuss it after. Yeah, so far the logic is to not to push too much the brand, but you have to be smart enough. We'll be able to see all the tests you've made. So yeah, in this case, it could be interesting to actually put it first, indeed. Right. So let's continue with the optimizations you worked on.
Yes. Once you have your perfect title, you can actually make it even more perfect. What I mean is that I give it a very concrete and practical example here. The brand is very strong on cocktail dress, like dress you put for a wedding or very important events. In French, it's called robe de cérémonie, ceremonial dresses. But it's not something that was present in the actual title of the product. But we had a category tag actually for each product, and we knew which ones were actually cocktail dress. And we did a little research about these keywords, and it was actually a keyword that was really, really searched for in summer, and summer is the best season for the brand. So what we did is actually we changed the name for the cocktail dress. We changed them from dress to cocktail dress in the title to be sure to be the most present and the most visible for the keywords that were important for the brand, because the cocktail dress represents a high percentage of their sale during the holidays, during the summer. So it was very important for them to appear. So if you have like bestseller, a best product, you have to be sure that the title of your product actually reflects all the keywords that people can look for when looking for products like yours. So that's how we did it, but you can do it as well with Channable just by changing the name. It's just a search and replace thing. It's very simple to put in place, but you have to think about it. It's just if tag is cocktail dress, then take the title and replace dress by cocktail dress. It's a really simple rule. but you just have to think about it.
Yeah, and as you said, keywords could be a good indicator, definitely. Sometimes a little bit of good sense, and try A/B testing a lot, and especially your recurrence with PMax in case you're working with it, where you have AI who can sometimes make a little bit of work for you also to test it. So definitely. Be always re-questioning everything to be sure to get the closest need, and also for every category to know that every category doesn't have the same sellers and the same habits of consumption. And again, one of the big
yes.
about.
So that's important part if you're using Shopify. If you're using Shopify and you're using the native tracking that we saw at the beginning of the presentation, you know now that you have to keep the content API feed live. If you cut it, you will lose the native tracking. And we had to keep the tracking running. So we had to use the feed that we created in Channable. We had to use it as secondary. We couldn't put it as principal because there was this content API that if we deleted it, it was deleting the tracking as well. So we had to use, and you will have to use, if you're in the same situation, the Channable feed as secondary. Well, a secondary feed is basically something that will, if it matches the ID of the products in your principal feed, it will change the information for all the attributes of the secondary feed. For example, if you have a product ID 1 and the title is cocktail dress, and in your secondary feed you have ID 1 Soi Paris cocktail dress size 42, it will match the ID and change the information of the title to the new one. And here comes another challenge if you do that with Shopify. If we can go to the next slide.
Yeah, sure.
Is that if you have a direct merchant center to Shopify connection, the ID will actually be changed. You see, the ID of a product that was natively connected from Shopify to Merchant Center is not your original ID. It's this thing Shopify _country _ item group ID _ID. So if you add your new feed that you spend a lot of time optimizing, if you had added directly as secondary, it won't match the ID of the principal feed. And that's a problem, right? So what you have to do is to create a rule in your secondary feed to change the ID of the product, to make it match the one that is on Merchant Center. So what you do is basically, you do a simple rule. If all, then you take your ID and you change it to Shopify _FR _ item group ID _ ID. And this way you will have the same product ID in Merchant Center, in your secondary feed. It can match, and Merchant Center can take all the information of your secondary feed and change it in the principal feed. So that's a challenge that you must have maybe encountered, or maybe you're even not aware about this, but it's important to have it in mind.
Yeah, we have Brit who is asking a question more or less in this logic, and workarounds. She's asking, is it not possible to just add the rules on the primary feed? That feed would have the same information that is used for the rules, isn't it?
I mean, the primary feed, as I was saying, was the feed that was automatically generated from connecting Shopify to Merchant Center. So we don't really have control around this. There is the rule part directly on Merchant Center, but it's really not something that you want to use to do everything we talked before. It's something much more complicated. You can't do a lot of things in the end. I wouldn't recommend to use the rule parts in Merchant Center. So our primary feed was just the feed from Shopify to Merchant Center. It was all the attributes that we had at the beginning. Everything was missing. So we created with Channable the right feed, and we just uploaded it as secondary to change the informations on every product. I don't know if it's clear for you, but let me know.
Wonderful. Okay. That is, yes, okay. Great.
Thank you very much.
So let's continue with another strategy that we put in place and a thing that we try to optimize to solve all these difficulties.
Yeah, so you must be aware of them, I guess. You have the possibility to add custom labels to your products. Custom labels are attributes that are not mandatory to Google, but that can help you categorize your products, mark them dynamically, and give them specific informations that can actually help you in your Google Ads campaigns. For example, here we created several custom labels. For example, we had the collection custom label, fall winter 23, spring summer 24. Very important as a fashion brand to have these tags. So we put it as a custom label because sometimes you want to do campaigns only for the new products, only for you want to. For every collection, you want to push well the new products, etc., etc. We did also an attribute that we call Channable product. Is just to mark every product that is actually in the Channable feed, because as we had the primary feed from Shopify, we wanted to be sure that our campaigns were taking into account only the products that we modified. And in the feed, we excluded a lot of them because of several reasons. And if you have the direct primary connection to Shopify in Merchant Center in your primary feed, you will have a lot more products. So we wanted to identify the products that we modified, and we put only them into the campaigns. And then we did also something, maybe on the next slide, to give you a bit more of detail, something quite easy to create for you if you're a retailer, but that is very important to have because it can really help you during promotional periods. It's the price status attribute that we create for all our clients. It's basically an attribute that will tell dynamically if a product is on sale or not. And it's very simple to create. It's just, if your price is equal to your old price, or if old price is empty, then your product is not on sale, right? And if it's the contrary, your product is on sale. And it's really very useful to have this because during promotional periods like Black Friday, sales, stuff like that, you really want your on-sale products to be showing. So what we do most of the time is that we have either specific campaigns, either we only select in our campaigns the on-sale products, and you can do that dynamically without having to actually, in your campaigns, pick manually the products. And it's always something that creates errors because if you add new products, new products on sale, it won't be in your campaign because you picked it manually before. It's really important to have it dynamic. And this kind of attributes, this kind of custom label that you can create in Channable allow you to have dynamic attributes. And you can do it for many other things. You can do it for, is it a product with a high margin or low margin? Is it a product that is best selling or not selling at all? The custom labels can help you really classify your products and segment your campaigns, and are key to analyzing the results and pushing the right products at the right time with the right target error return on investment targets or CPA targets. Custom labels can really help you do that, and it's important to do them.
And that's why we would like to ask you this last question, at least for the polls, before to go to the end of the things we implemented. Do you use your custom label? And in case you don't, and if you do, which kind of information that you are putting on it? We have different visions which are taken center here around experts. Is it really just product level to be able to do the good information? category performance. Also, you see that we worked also a lot on the performance to make sure that we do the same thing all the time. Yeah, performance is taking it all. Oh no, it's actually the three equal in terms of.
Yeah, so you're
We have the
using them.
level. Product level is taking the lead again. Okay, so pretty balanced, and you use more or less everything, which is always good. After you have to automate everything also to be sure you're always pertinent. But great to see that we already have a real understanding of what is custom label here, and that you can push it for better performances precisely. Okay, category. Wonderful.
Yeah, so a lot of you are already using them. That's really cool.
Yeah,
and a lot of performance information. So you're pretty advanced guys already. That's cool.
Absolutely. It would be interesting if you can share others also. What is other? We are happy to see it. Alexandre, yeah, we can go directly then to the structure and your brand strategy.
Yeah, so I'm going to say now some things that a lot of you won't like, I guess, because it's going to go against what you see on the best LinkedIn strategies, if I can say. Basically, it's all around brand. Do we include it? Do we exclude it from the campaigns? We tested many things. First, because that's what we thought was the best decision to do, was to create. Well, we tested other structures, but these two are the main ones we tested. The first one was actually 2 PMAX with brand exclusions. So we exclude the brand from the PMAX. The PMAX, it does only generic keywords. Per product performance. So we had best products, other products. Basically, the strategy around that is to have a target return on investment a bit lower on the best products, because we want them to do, that's the product that will do volume. So we have one big volume campaign with the best product, and then one other products with lower performing products, or all the other products. And here we set the target return on investment a bit higher, to be sure that we are that we make profit on these products. And then we have a brand shopping campaign. The strategy was quite simple. It was the PMAX are for generic keywords. The brand shopping campaign is for brand keywords. But it didn't work. We still couldn't be visible on Google Shopping. We tested many things on this campaign. Targets, return on investment, CPCs from low to super high, just to see how to be visible. We just couldn't. And we really, sometimes at the end, we were like, what should we do? And then we went just against what all the LinkedIn guru are going to tell you. We just reintroduced the brand into the PMAX. And instantly, like really instantly, the brand was visible again against resellers, and almost all resellers were actually excluded from the search results. Like it was almost only Soi Paris products, just by reintegrating the brand into the campaigns. So here the message that I have is really, don't be blindsided by what you see on LinkedIn or in other webinars, by people telling you that this is the way to do things. There is no way to do things. There is only tests, and every brand is different. Every brand has a context that is different. Every industry has a context that is different, and what works for one will not for other. And like the visibility problem is a problem for one brand, but maybe it's not for another brand. So really, don't think, oh, that's how we do it, and we do it only like that. No, you need nuance, right? You need nuance. You need to think, and you need to adapt to what you see. And it's really important that you do that you do that, and that you adapt to your situation and to your problems.
Right.
I have I have a question from Gabrielle.
Yeah.
Can you tell us in the first version how much of the ad spend in the brand shopping campaign was effectively spent on front terms? Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's one very interesting point. Yes, I'm actually glad that you asked, Gabrielle, because we didn't want the presentation to be too long, but that's a huge subject, right? Your brand shopping campaign will never be 100% brand, right? If you know a bit how shopping works, you can say I don't want to target that, but you can't say I want to target that. So you can never be sure. Some people will tell you just put a high return on investment target on your campaign. It will filter the keywords. In reality, it doesn't work. Just put a very low CPC. In reality, it doesn't work. We want to be visible. Our resellers are very aggressive. They have a higher CPC. That's why we don't appear. And as you say, even with the script that allows you to automatically remove all the non-brand keywords, to remove them, they have to be typed first, right? You need to appear on them first to be removed. So there is always a part that can go from at the lowest 5% to the highest 30%, 40%, 50, 60% if you put a budget that is too high for your actual number of times people look for your brand, right? The budget will always be spent somewhere. Even if you put a very low CPC on this brand shopping campaign, the budget will always be spent. Google will always find very long tail keywords for you to bid on, right? So that's also why we decided to reintegrate the brand. For other brands, it goes pretty well. I mean, that's why I say you need to adapt. You need to adapt, test, and see what works for you. For other brands in our portfolio, for other clients we have this brand shopping campaign, and that works pretty well because for many reasons. But for Soi Paris in particular, it wasn't working. So we adapted and we changed. And right now, the structure that really works for us is 2 PMAX, best other, and brand included in that. But you need to control a bit what Google is doing, right? So if you can go to the next slide.
Absolutely.
We actually just use a very nice script. We use several scripts for our PMAX campaign, but that's not really the topic today. But this script in particular really helped us. It's brand versus non-brand impressions, clicks, conversions in your PMAX campaign. So once we reintegrated the brand into the PMAX, we just followed this script on a weekly basis, and even on a daily basis, but you know how it works. And we just had a look at the brand part and the brand share of impression clicks, and we just made sure that the brand was not actually taking the whole thing, right? And in the end, it wasn't. And so both our objectives were met, meaning we were visible again against resellers, but the brand is not a brand that is searched 20,000 times a day. So the budget on the brand was not really super high, and like 90% of the budget of the campaign was actually going to generic keywords. So everyone happy in the end, and even in the conversion share, the generic keywords were working pretty well. And having the brand into your PMAX can also have advantage. It also gives the PMAX the information about who your real clients are, right? It gives the PMAX the information of who to go target to make more conversions. So it can also have, good point to have the PMAX in there. So that's how we do it and how we did it, and it worked. Yeah, it worked pretty well. Can we go maybe to the next slide?
Absolutely.
So, and this is something very important, and I think the strategy, the next, I think that's something we're going to talk a lot more in 2025, is the going from return on investment strategy to profit on advertising spend strategy. I don't know if you know that already, but on Channable, if you're on Shopify, you have in your product, you can mention the cost of goods sold for each of your products, and it sends the information to Google about your margin, basically, and that is an information that is already available. I mean, that is a metric that is already available in Google Ads. If you look on your account, you have gross margin already, and you have also other metrics, margin metrics available. And if you have your cost of goods sold attributes filled already without any, without any server-side tracking or anything, you can have your gross margin in Google Ads. And then you go from a strategy where you just optimize on return on investment that doesn't take into account actually how much you paid the product to make it, to a POAS strategy where you focus on profit. And the POAS is basically the gross margin divided by the cost. And what it means is that if it's above 1, you spend less to make a sale than to make the product. So it's good. Obviously, you have also other costs in your organization, so it's not really one. But here for Soi Paris, we could see, for example, that with a 3.9 POS, we were heavily profitable. So that's how we started to actually follow the results of the campaign and to adapt all the target return on investment on every campaign as well. And it's very important to have this. If we can go to the next slide, maybe.
Absolutely. I just said then for the few people who are not using performance information from the poll that we made, perhaps it's a good one to start thinking about, at least to start, because it's a really powerful one, definitely.
Yeah. And actually, so if you're using Shopify, and if you are already mentioning the cost of goods sold for every product on your product page, in your back office in Shopify backend, you can actually get that information in your Shopify feed, in your Channable feed. If you go to setup in Channable, and if you go to your Shopify connection, it's something quite new actually. It appeared, I think, 2 months ago, if I'm not mistaken, Benoit.
Yeah, something like that.
You can now add meta fields, variant meta fields, sales channels, and cost per item natively in your feed. Before you had to ask our Channable representative, but now you can do it by yourself. And it's really good, because then now in your feed you can have the cost per item, and it allows the Google to actually calculate the gross margin after that. So really, really important to have this information in the future. It's maybe not something that you have already, but maybe we didn't plan a poll for that. But do you use it? It is something on your site that you are already using? That would be nice to know. Let us know in the chat if you're already using it.
I say Eric is leaving, so yeah, for your information, indeed, you'll get the recording. You'll get the recording in the thank you email for attending. So have a good. But then for your question, we have some people answering. No, okay. Not yet. In some cases, Casper. Okay, and au revoir. A pleasure, Eric.
Maybe we can go to the results.
Absolutely.
We're a bit late. I'm sorry.
Indeed.
I speak too much. So basically, it's we're getting to the end, but let's just stay, because we will also just after see what we will do in the future, what Channable actually allows you to do right now. So it won't be long, but to stay just after that. So it's just the results. In 2024, in less than 1 year, we increased spend by 5 and revenue by 7. So basically, we began to scale the accounts. It's only the beginning. We will go much higher, and the revenue followed. with a better return on investments overall. So quite happy about the results.
Yeah, I think it's kind of results that everyone would like to get in their company. So we're pretty happy with these results, and with this good beginning, if we can say it like this. We are now thinking a little bit where we could go for the next steps, and we're thinking mainly about social medias today, and even adaptation of image content for the different channels, social medias, even websites or whatever. The idea is indeed a thing that we can offer in Channable, but even without this, it's still, I think, a smart thing to do to adapt not only to the product category, etc., but also to the channel you are actually integrating. And the idea is to use the image as a help for your increasing your sales and performances. You will link your product data directly to the image to be able to write prices during sales, percentage of discount, all those kind of things. Also to change the size of your different images to make it the best for the channel, like Facebook, etc., etc. And to maintain a certain guideline on your brand vision and visuals, which will give, for example, something like this, so different verticals here and different social medias to be sure that you talk to the right audience. You know, for example, I don't know, Pinterest is mainly for female between 20 and 35, if I remember well, if you look at the audience. Snapchat is more for a younger audience, if it is the one you're targeting, etc., etc. And you won't discuss exactly the same way. And the idea is to work directly on this content, on images, to be sure that we make better performance. And also to link it with PMax. I don't know if you know it, but on Channable, we are offering for the image assets on PMax the possibility to dynamically and automatically change those images, and to be sure that you will send the right information to the right place per category for the asset. You had a first impression for the one who were in the APD, for example, in Utrecht this year about a use case about this. It wasn't exactly for this new feature, but because we automated it since. But it's something which can be really powerful to be sure that you continue to be always as relevant as possible when someone is typing for your product or something similar. And finally, I wanted to say, and I think is the main message here, don't be too dogmatic, as we said. Accept that testing is important, that every person is different according to where he finds the product, that it knows you, don't know you, always different. Segmentation is really important. It could be by channel, it could be by period, could be by category of products, it could be by event. I mean by that sales, Black Friday, end of the year, whatever it is. But you can try to manage it all in one, everywhere at once. And it makes it definitely way better for your time, for your head, but also for your money, which is always at the end, as we say in French, the real reason of the war. So that's all for us. At least for this strategy in the future, and we will be happy, I guess, to share with you if we have as good results with this in the future.
Yes. If you want to continue the discussion, if you have questions, if you want to discuss anything, this QR code links to our LinkedIn, so do not hesitate to just contact me or Benoit, and I will be very happy to continue the discussion, to debate if you want, because I know some people must have some other opinions or on how to do things, and I'm really eager to debate. I really love that. So let's have interesting discussions. I'm always available.
Exactly. And Gabriele, also you gave me desire to get a continuation of this discussion. So please, you get first. Thank you very much. Thank you, Jeremy.
Okay. So should we say goodbye?
I think so. If we have no other questions, don't hesitate.
Thank you very much, everyone, for attending. It's the 31st of July. I was not hoping that many people, to be honest, so I'm very happy. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you had very insightful things to actually implement in your accounts straight away, and that everything is clear. So thank you very much, everyone. And I wish you a very nice day, maybe nice holidays for some of you.
And see you around with pleasure.
See you around. Thank you very much.
Goodbye.